What is up, everybody? It's your boy DFSUpNorth here with DFS Army, and today we are talking about the Dell Match play. I'm talking about strategy. I'm talking about how I view this tournament, what I think is the best way for you to win money. So if you want to learn about that, stick around. Let's go, baby. What up, everybody? It's your boy DFSUpNorth, and I am here today to talk about the Dell Match play, the last incarnation of the Dell Match play, which is really kind of sad because this is one of my favorite events of the year for DFS purposes. I think there's an edge, and I think that it is a lot of fun. All right, so it's a different week, right? We get these groups, there's quadrants, there's all sorts of jazz going on. I'm just sending it to our DFS Army VIPs, letting them know that I am alive right now, talking about the match play. So for those of you who don't know, how this tournament works is it is everybody, we get the top 64 players in the world or thereabouts, right? It's close, right? It's we get some of the guys in the top 64 miss out or they don't show up for whatever reason. And then obviously we've got the live guys who aren't invited and allowed to play. But for the most part, we get the top 64 golfers in the world. And what they do is they rank them 1 through 16, 16 to or 17 to 32, 33 to fuck, I'm bad at math, but whatever, down to 64. So 4 groups of 16, and each group gets a player, meaning that 1 through 16, a B player, 16 through or 17 through 32, a C player, and a D player, right? So we get some parity, all right? And then all of those guys play each other in 3 matches, all right? So 1 match on Wednesday, 1 match Thursday, 1 match Friday, and 18 hole matches, and the player that has the most points, right, at the end advances to the knockout stages, which is we go from 16 down to 8 down to 4, and then the final 4. Once you're in the final 4, you do get to play 2 matches, and that is why it is really important for us to hopefully get the final 4 correct in our there we go, I just sent it out to the Discord, right? Why we want to get the final 4 correct, all right? Because they get extra points, all right? And because we look here, we can see the scoring on DraftKings, all right? So you get points for, instead of birdies, you get a point for a hole 1. You get 3 points for a holes 1, 0.75 for a hole tied, minus 0.75 for a hole loss. Any holes that are not played, so you beat somebody 3 and 2, you got 2 holes left, you get 3.2 points. You win the match, you get 5 points. You draw the match, you get +2. All right, so all the scoring is based on that. Well, the guys who get to the final 4 are going to play 36, potentially 36 extra holes that nobody else in the field does. So you get a big advantage by having golfers who are in that final 4 to help you win the tournament. And you ideally need at least 3 to win most tournaments. Now, this tournament right here, this is the Albatross, $12 entry, $29.41. My guess is that you could arguably, depending on if you get first and third, you could feasibly win this if you just have 2 players in the final 4. But we're going to get to strategy like that here in a little bit. You're right. What's up, my man? Let's go. So yeah, you can see how the scoring works. We'll come back to this page. We'll talk about it. But you can see now, right? This is the whole bracket. All right. So these little quadrants, right, are trying to advance guys to the final 4. So this group of 16 is a quadrant. This group of 16 is a quadrant, right? And you can see it on my cheat sheet. I've got them color coded here with a green quadrant, a blue quadrant, a orange quadrant, and a yellow quadrant, right? So everybody is guaranteed 3 matches. After that, who the heck knows what is going to happen? And we have seen carnage in this tournament over the years as they've gone on. We've seen just random guys play well, guys come out of nowhere and contend. Studs have struggled. So it's really interesting kind of how it works. And just so you know, if we look over here on the right, you can see this group up here with John Rahm. So Rahm's the number 2 player in the field. He is going to play the A player will play the D player in the first round, while B plays C. Then the A player will play the C player, B will play D, and then finally A and B will play each other, and C and D will play each other in the final match. This year, luckily, we don't have anybody that is like, as far as we know, outside of maybe Matt Fitzpatrick, dealing with an injury. Last year, we had Paul Casey, who we were worried about, and he did end up WDing on the first hole, so everybody in his match got extra points because of the withdrawal. But here's the thing, all right, and this is where I guess the strategy of this comes into play. We've been doing this for, I believe, last year was our 4th year doing this event for DFS, and we've really dug into the numbers over the years. And what we found is, up until last year, zero people in all of the contests, we're talking contests with 100,000 people in them, had ever gotten the Final Four correct. All right. So nobody had gotten the Final Four right. Not just because, like, I mean, I'm sure like most of you have filled out a March Madness bracket. It's really, really freaking hard, right, to get the Final Four right. Beyond that, we also have salary restrictions. Okay. And with our salary restrictions, it makes it really hard to win or to even feasibly could be impossible to get the Final Four right. All right. So my theory, and last year, obviously 15 guys proved me wrong out of 100,000, whatever. My theory is that we want to, instead of trying to build our lineups to get everyone into the Final Four, we should try to maximize our ability to get 3 of the Final Four correct. All right. How we do that is by taking one player from each little mini quadrant of 8. All right. But to do that, you have to completely eliminate one of these quadrants. All right. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the DS here, our Domination Station, which is our DFS Army optimizing tool here in a little bit. But the idea then is that, so like here, and I'm just going to show this because I think it's easier sometimes to see it on the bracket, right? So let's say I think that John Rahm is going to get to the Final Four. All right. So I get him to here. All right. That means that he was my player from this quadrant of 8. All right. And then down here, let's say I think it's going to be, I don't even mean to click on Kurt Kitayama, right? So I get Kurt Kitayama here, right? So he would be my second group of 8, right? So in this group of Finau, Kitayama, Moronk, Bazunhout, Zalatoris, Fox, English, and Putnam, I think that Kitayama is going to make it out. All right. Obviously, these guys would meet in the Elite 8 here and end up, potentially knocking each other out, but we're trying to give ourselves the best chance to get guys to this situation, right? We'd go down here. Let's say it's going to be Hoagie, which I mean sucks because they're like Minwoo Lee and Rory are going to be our 2 guys. They would meet here. Potentially we would get, let's say, Tom Hoagie into our Final Four. All right. Now we go over here and let's say we pick Scheffler in our top 8 there and Victor Perez. Okay. And now we get Scheffler here. All right. So that would be our DFS lineup. Okay. Our DFS lineup would be Scheffler, Perez, Rahm, Kitayama, Hoagie, and McIlroy. Now, feasibly, is that going to work salary-wise? Probably not, but that's the concept. So in this scenario, I am completely eliminating this bottom left quadrant from our pool. All right. Now, if we were going to, can I clear this? Well, let me clear it. So the other option, obviously, is to try to get all 4. All right. So what we would have to do is we would have to eliminate like a John Rahm. I don't even know if I can knock him back here. And try to take one. You're trying to pick, instead of 1 out of 8, you're picking 1 out of 16. All right. And so you can see how our odds are greatly decreased of picking that 1 out of 8 and trying to get that Final Four entirely correct. Right. So again, need to point this out that in the entire time that we've played this tournament, which I think is now we're in our year 5, maybe year 4, I don't remember. But 15 people have done it, have found that Final Four. So in my head, that math doesn't necessarily check out, right? That why would I necessarily want to try to build my lineups to get that Final Four correct? I get that we're trying to maximize, but especially if you're not playing like the big tournament, like even if you are, the idea that we can get 4, like it's just almost, almost mathematically impossible. All right. And last year they made it work by a bunch of the chalk made it through. All right. And we've seen that the chalk here has not done very well. And you know, if more top seeds, which some people are predicting this year, that more top seeds are going to make it into the next round, right? It's going to be tough for anyone to make it essentially, or to get that Final Four, right? Because you're just going to be constrained by the salary. So like I said, my idea is that I want to get as many guys, like ideally I'd have 6 of the 8. I would have 6 of the 8 in the final 8 in my lineup, right? That would be like ideal world, right? And that would allow me to obviously guarantee myself 3 in the finals. And then, you know, I get those 3 points for everybody in the finals. Okay. And this is something that we've been talking about at DFS Army for a long time. People get enamored sometimes by the prize pool, or think that there's like, you look at the DFS industry on Twitter, everybody's talking about optimal builds. And to me, and I think the math would bear this out, is that this is the optimal build. Trying to get 4 is not optimal. It is a minus E. You have negative expected value. And I say that in the sense that I think this whole tournament is minus EV for the most part. Like, we're talking about just an insanely complicated math problem here to get this right. And we have variance, you know, not only salary, but we have strategy. We have, like, you're playing 3 matches. Like, we've seen just random guys dust good guys. We've seen good guys go out early. We've seen good guys dominate. There's a lot more going on here than an average tournament. So you do have to get pretty lucky here too. So, but for me, that is the way that I have been preaching for the last couple of years. We've had a ton of success with this strategy here at DFS Army. Again, if you're not a DFS Army VIP and you're watching this here in the public and you're like, fuck, that guy sounds pretty smart. Not necessarily, but no, I think I've got to get a good handle on this. And, you know, we also, beyond me, I think part of what's made me better as a DFS Army contributor and just a DFS player has been our Discord, right? Our access to Discord. And we've got so many sharp guys in there that are talking lineup strategy, that are putting out what they think is going to happen. And that just makes me better. So use the code UpNorth. I got the link in the bio. www.dfsarmy.com/pricing. Use the code UpNorth. That gets you 10% off for life. Speaking of sharp guys, here's what I need in the comments. Sometime before I finish, tell me who you think the biggest upset this week is going to be. Mine is, I think that Mackenzie Hughes is going to come out of his bracket, because we've seen guys get hot with the butter here and be super successful. So I'm high on Mackenzie Hughes here. Even though he's been absolutely god awful the last couple of weeks. That's my super punt for the week is going to be Mackenzie Hughes, as long as you don't count my boy Minwoo Lee as a super punt. All right. So let's talk a little bit about my cheat sheet, right? So again, if you are a DFS Army VIP, you get access to this. I broke down every single group. I do this every week, right? And talk about who I like. I've got my core plays in here. I'm going to tell you right now that let's just go, we're going to go quickly group by group, and then I'm going to get into the optimizer and I'm going to show you what we have access to. So right at the top, right, we've got Scotty Scheffler, going to be one of the highest owned players in the slate. I think that he likely comes out of here. I think that Noren could pull the upset. There is leverage on guys like Noren, Kim, even Davis Riley. But Scotty's going to be one of the chalkiest. Is he going to get higher than Terrell Hatton here? Let me see. Oh, Hatton's at 20% in our projections for ownership. Next group, I really like. If you're willing to attack this group, I think there's leverage here. I think guys like Matt McNeely is interesting. Just because they have to play Scotty Scheffler in the next round, right? Scotty Scheffler's been the hottest golfer on the planet. So group 16, I think there's some leverage, especially you can see in that ownership for, hey, if one of these guys make it out, they beat Scotty, you're going to crush the rest of the field, right? Or be in good shape to crush the rest of the field. Group 9 is dangerous. I think that any of these guys can come out of it. Morikawa, Day, Day's been a match play stud. This Group 8 is interesting. People really like Matt Kuchar. I am one of those people. I like Siwoo Kim. He's a Pete Dye specialist, and I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but he's played well at Pete Dye courses in the past, and the putters really come around. So that's that top left quadrant, the yellow group of players for me. If I'm being honest, when we talk about looking at quadrants, for me, this is the quadrant that I am looking to fade. All right, in my main lineups. Does that mean that I'm going to completely avoid them in all of my lineups? No, right? But the way that I'm setting up the Domination Station, and you'll see that here in a minute, is I am setting it up to fade this group of golfers. All right. And the reason being is I think I'm not trying to get sucked into the Scotty chalk. All right. And I just think there's so many spots in this group where it's like, holy shit, anybody could win this, right? So for me, that's that's kind of where I'm at. And if I do play this group, I'm gonna play like Scotty up here, and then I'm gonna throw darts on Siwoo Kim in this bottom mini quadrant, this group of 8, or maybe a Victor Perez and Scotty, or maybe I go Matt McNeely and Max, or no, Max almost in the next group, and what's a stud that's gonna be maybe a little lower owned, like a Morikawa, right? Could Colin Morikawa win the match play this week? 100%. Is his match play record good? Well, let me check. We do have that in our Domination Station, or not our Domination Station, our Research Station. And we can see that Morikawa match play history 2, 3, and 3. Not great. But hey, his odds to come out of his group are about 34%. And we can show that right now. These are just, we pulled aggregated from books. Scotty's 46% to come out of his group. Patrick Cantlay in group 4 is 42.4%. That's pretty impressive. 10% chance to reach the finals implied, right? Pretty good, right? Pretty good. People love Cantlay this weekend. I am one of them. Cantlay is going to be a core play for me, and he's in the next quadrant. So let's talk about them, right? At the top, we got Max Homa. I think this is a dangerous group. I do love Homa. I think this ownership ends up a little bit higher because people get sucked into he's a good match play player, but he's been terrible. So I'm not going to play Kiz, but I do like Homa quite a bit. The luck box group I've determined number 12. I already said I think that Mackenzie Hughes could be sneaky here. I don't really have interest in Lowry or Montgomery, but it's Spieth is Spieth. Burns is interesting. This whole group, I wish that I would have more of these guys, but for me, guys, the play of the day in group 4 is going to be Patrick Cantlay. The ownership reflects that. I honestly won't have any of these other 3 guys in this group. On a core play for me this week, that means that I'm just going to have pretty much zero exposure to anybody else. All right. So from that group, for me right now, if I was hand building, I'd say I'm probably going Patrick Cantlay and maybe Mackenzie Hughes. If I can get him Cantlay and a Homa together in a lineup by playing some other duds, I will. All right. Moving on to the other side of the bracket, we've got and hey, if you guys got questions right now, if I'm talking about something, you guys got a question, or you're waiting for it, just put it in the chat. Let me know. That's what we're here for today. On the other side, we got the Rambo. I think that Ram is going to smash this week. I'm really high on Rom. And again, the grouping is not good. Billy Horschel's been mediocre. He's won here before, but and to his credit, he won here before kind of out of nowhere. So Horschel, it's not for me. I can see the leverage in that play. People like Keith Mitchell, no. Ricky Fowler, love the comeback story, no. Group 15, I think, is intriguing. Again, I would have a ton of Cam Young here, but he's going up against Rahm in the first round. Straka almost made it out of his group. That's a guy who can get hot with his putter, so don't sleep on him. I do love that Cam Young's got Paul Tesori on the bag. People are really high on Tony Finau this week. I think Kurt Kitayama and Adrian Moronk, the Polish giraffe, are both really good plays here against Finau. We know what Finau, the putter can go really quickly. Group 7 though, that's another one at core play for me. It is my boy Willie Z. Should have got out of, or he's just playing well. He just makes a lot of sense, and this group sucks. Putting him English, no interest. Fox. We're back. Sorry, I pressed a button on my mouse and lost y'all. All right, so let me get my screen back up here. Window, cheat sheets. Yeah, I think that Willie Z is gonna smash here. All right. Now into the final group. I really have no interest in Xander. We look at his sort of record here: 6-5-3. Nothing to write home about. He's got decent odds to come out of his group, but I like a guy like Tom Hoagie, who's just, if he gets hot at the right time, I think that he's intriguing. This group 11 was close to, I had a couple of, I think that there's leverage on Matt Fitzpatrick, right? We know that he's dealing with an injury, but this is the type of event that I think he could have some success at. But for me, it's Min Woo Lee and Sahith. I love both those guys. We'll have a ton of exposure. Terrell Hatton's going to be the chalk. I don't really love anybody to beat him in this group, but I think we could see Benny. If Ben Griffin wins on day one against Hatton, even if he draws, I think he's coming out of this group. I really like his game for this course. And then Rory switching the driver shaft. He's, looking good, but I think Denny Dirk could take Rory down this week. So if you're looking to get funky, I think that is a spot to do it. Okay. Let's talk about our domination station. All right. So this is, again, our optimizer, right? And I am probably preaching to the choir here because it's mostly DFS Army VIPs who are getting set up here. But I'm just going to talk you guys through it, how I am setting it up. All right. So I'm leaving salary range. I'm not touching anything up here. Unique players. Okay. If you're building 150, you can just leave it. If you're building 20, you can mess around with it. But really, with the rules that you're putting in place, you don't necessarily need it. Okay. I'm not forcing anybody on ownership. And again, if I'm not getting a big enough spread in my lineups, I will mess with randomization on a week like this. Most weeks I'm playing this at 20% because all that's doing is saying, okay, it's going to randomly assign from our projection 20% up, 20% down. And that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 points up or down on our projection. All right. But again, for me, not messing with that this week. Okay, now we are getting into our rules. All right. So I said that I want to just play 3 of these quadrants. If we look back here, I am playing the entire right side and the bottom left. Okay. And I am fading up here. So what I am doing when I set up my rules here is, okay, stack between 1 and 1 of Finau, Kitayama, Moronk, Zalatoris, and Fox in all lineups. So if we go back over here, we can see this is this group of 8. And for me, you can put in all 8, but I'm not playing Harris English. I'm not playing Andrew Putnam. All right. That could come back and burn me. Sure. I'm not playing Bez. That could come back and burn me. I'm fine with that. But those are the 5 guys that I really like out of this little mini 8 quadrant, right? So that's a rule I'm going to put in there. And I'm going to say I want to play stack between 1 and 1 of Finau, Kitayama, Moronk, Will Zalatoris, and Ryan Fox. So what that's going to do is in all 150 lineups, I will get 1 of those players in all of my lineups. Again, I am just hoping that, ideally one of them is going to come out. All right. Oh wait, I'm going to here. So, right. I'm just saying that one of these guys is going to win the group and hopefully move on, right? Move on to the Elite 8. And then up here, right, my next one, let me see, Domination Station. Where's the John Ram one? So stack between 1 of John Ram, Billy Horschel, Keith Mitchell, Ricky Fowler, Cam Young, Straka, Connors, Davis Thompson. So there I did everybody. All right. So I did this whole group up here. All right. And I'm going to get 1 of them in all my lineups. Okay. And again, I did this for I only have 6 rules. I've seen people with like a zillion rules. And as we build here, I'm gonna run this, right? I might have to make a couple more rules, but really it's about this simple, right? Stack between 1 and 1. That is going to get you 1 person from each mini quadrant. All right. And again, I don't want to attack each other, right? I don't want 2 guys like, from my lineups here. I don't want to have Rom and Billy Horschel in the same lineup. So that's why I say stack between 1 and 1, not 1 and 4, right? Or 1 and 2, right? Because what could happen is that I get all 4 of these guys in my lineup, and that's obviously I'm going to be dead to rights. So that is what my rules look like. All right. I really haven't touched anything else. I'm just going to hit the build lineups here. It is going, we're at like 43. Again, guys, if you have questions, let me know. We can do it. But what we'll do is we will, oh no, am I going to get stuck here on lineups? Potentially. Oh no, we're at 100. All right. What we can do is, again, I might have to change some of my exposures, right? Typically, I'm building 150 right now with my exposure max at 100. I hope, because I put tournament mode in, I'm not going to get somebody I'm not going to be super overexposed to somebody here, but we'll see. Okay. All right. Let's take a look-see here. So I've got, all right, honestly, I don't hate these exposures. I don't love this Finau exposure, and I don't love that much Mackenzie Hughes, but it's not bad, right? So the biggest thing that you need to do here, though, or what I need to do is I need to say, okay, am I doing what I want to do? All right, so let's look at this lineup here and just see. We're going to go back to the bracket, just see if I'm doing what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so Patrick Cantlay. I've got Pat Cantlay. Okay, so he is where? Okay, there's Patrick Cantlay. So now ideally this lineup should have somebody from this 4 in here. All right, let's see. Schauffele, McCarthy, Hughes, and Straka. Let's go back. There's Mackenzie Hughes. All right, so I've got 2 from this quadrant. That's exactly what I wanted. All right, Xander Schauffele. Okay, let's go over to the other side. I've got a Xander lineup here. Where am I at? I just saw him. Okay, I've got Xander Schauffele. And who else is in that lineup? Finau, McCarthy, Straka. Okay, I know McCarthy's in that other one, right? And then we got Finau and Straka. Are they from the top here on this group? Let's see. I got Finau from the bottom here, Straka from right there. So right now it looks like what I'm getting is exactly what I want to be getting. I want to get one person from each little mini 8 quadrant. All right. Again, like if I was going to like run this into the DS right now, that would be exactly what I want to make sure that I'm going through. But let's see. Okay. We're going to just change my exposure max. Okay. I'm going to drop this down to, let's say 60%. There are a couple of guys that I'm just going to bump it on myself individually. I'm going to say that I can have more than 60% of, I think a guy like, let's just do my 2 core. Let's just say I can get 80% Cantlay and 80% Zalatoris. Okay. I'm going to even go lower on, like, I'm getting a ton of Mackenzie Hughes because they're trying to jam in Cantlay, which understandable. I'm just going to throw this at like 20% because, like, let's be honest here. I think that Hughes could be sneaky, but he ain't going to come out of this bracket. All right. I'm going to drop Finau a little bit just because I don't love him this week. I do like that they're giving me a bunch of Denny, but if we go to the bottom here, we're going to see that we're probably not getting anywhere near enough of some of these guys. And I'm messing with exposures this week. I know Kevin is a big believer in changing the projection. You can do that. It's fine. It's not my favorite thing. I'm just going to see. And by changing the exposures, you may end up not getting enough of a guy, right? And that happens. Griffin, Connors, I don't love all that. Montgomery, but it's not bad. All right, let's run it again. Again, hit me up with any questions that you guys have. We can put them out. But let's see what we got going for lineups here. Okay. While we do that, let's just take a look here. Oh, we got it. There we go. All right, we're at 70%. That's not terrible. Again, we can double check. I got like the exact same lineup as lineup number 1. That is going to project really highly. Cantlay, Finau, Hatton, Sahith, Hughes. All right. Who am I getting more of if I'm not getting a lot of Hughes? I'm not getting enough as Willie Z, so I need to make sure I set him in there. I do like the Hadwin play. Oh, whoa. We got an issue. We, my friends, have an issue. All right. It's giving me Adam Hadwin. Why is that an issue? Oh, no, never mind. I'm losing my mind here. We can play Adam Hadwin. I thought Hadwin was in that top group. I had the my antenna was up. All right. Let's see here. Finau, Straka. That's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. What's going to happen here is I'm trying to dummy these some of these duds down, and that's going to, I think, hurt me long term. Like Davis Thompson, I don't know, 10%. And it's probably at some point going to tell me, like, hey, you are not building enough lineups. I don't love getting like one of guys, but it's fine because you know what? Guess what? All it takes sometime is one. I've seen that in this tournament before. I think I had like one. I did like Victor Perez a couple years ago when he made the Final Four, but I don't think I had very many Victor Perez actual lineups in here. All right. And this is, again, to build 150, right? And if you wanted to just run 150 here, and like I keep getting this like almost exact same lineup every single time. If you wanted to run 150 and just, just to find 3 lineups, that's okay too, right? All right, where am I at here? How much Rory am I getting? Oh, we gotta set a 20 on Rory here. And again, this is like really literally about how I build. I just kind of go around and see where I'm at, see what's going on. Let's optimize it one more time, and then just keep bumping. It takes a while. I'm looking at this now. I'm gonna leave this screen up for me tonight, so that I can keep doing it. While we're waiting for that, I just want to go over to, where am I at here? Oh, it's giving me my exposures already. Oh, all right. It's kind of flattening me out here a little bit by doing this, but that's okay because I'm getting more studs, right? That's the other thing. Like if I'm getting 70% Patrick Cantlay, there's no way that I'm getting a ton of somebody else. So I don't hate that. Oh, tournament fact sheets. Let's go to the match play. All right, and just see a little bit about the course. This is a Pete Dye design, 7108, 70 par 71, fast greens, fairly small greens, lots of bunkers, and 110, which is wild, right? A bunch of water hazards, but it's not necessarily in play. POA overseed. The average fairway widths are actually pretty tight here. Ice storm damaged some trees. But that was last year we saw, right? Ice storm early February. They redesigned the chipping and putting green areas. Awesome. Nobody cares. But yeah, I think Austin's a really, really fun country club. The front nine's kind of rugged. The back nine's kind of linksy. I think the closing holes are really interesting for here. But yeah, it's a fun course. All right, let's look at what I got now. Okay, did I get a different top lineup? Nope, looks about exactly the same. I don't hate these exposures. Who's Connors with? Let me see. I got to go back here and see where Corey Connors is showing up. Oh, he's showing up out of this group. I don't hate that. Okay. But let me just, okay, I'm looking at this now, right? Again, this is one thing that we can do here. If I can sort by all Corey Connors lineups, okay, just make sure I'm not getting anybody else that is like a Rom or somebody above him. So in these Corey Connors lineups, I am getting Finau, it looks like, right? I'm pairing Corey Connors and Finau a lot, which I guess I don't hate. Yeah, look at Finau, Connors, Hoagie, right? Don't mind that. Okay. So again, that's how you use the Domination Station to set this up. All right. I hope that helped. I've seen guys have some like wild number of rules. You really don't need that many rules. Like a 6 rules here, like gets you in fine. And if I wanted to, okay, like let's say I wanted to, okay, and it's pretty easy to do this, right? Like let's say I was gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do 50 of my lineups like this. Okay, boom, done. Tournament mode. Okay, boom, download the CSV. Got it. Okay. Then I'm going to trade out. Let's say, okay, I'm going to get rid of the who's that top group here. I'm going to get rid of this upside. So I would take out my rules for Finau and Rom. So I would just get rid of that. I would get rid of the Rom one, and then I'd add in rules. I'd add in 2 rules for the Scotty Scheffler unit, and I run 50 lineups like that. And then maybe I want to set it up that I want, to do everybody or whatever, and then I can run 50 lineups like that. Like it's literally that easy, and that's what's so nice about the optimizer and the DFS Army Domination Station is that we are able to do that. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope I answered some questions that I had seen in the Discord and talked about it. But hey, again, I will be around tonight. You can hit me up in the Discord. We'll talk you through this. And I hope it was helpful. Again, if you're not a DFS Army VIP, you can use code 10 up north for 10% off the VIP membership. I'm hoping to maybe have some prize picks plays up later. They have holes 1. I need to dig into some scorecards from last year if we're going to do that. So have a great night, guys. We're ready to go. It's Tuesday night. We are playing tomorrow morning, 10:20 Central Time. So get your lineups in and we'll chat soon. All right. Thanks, guys.